For this interview, I speak with Dana. She's 24 years old. She lives in Northern Virginia, and she is a business development operations data analyst with a government contractor. Let's get started. Hi, Dana. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for letting me be here. I'm so excited.
Yay.
Um, and
I
I,
know.
I do these a lot at work. I feel like doing like the meet and greets. So
Yeah.
now I'm excited, like I'm on the other side.
You are a business development operations data
Yes.
analyst, which there's a lot of parts to that. But
Yep.
can you just tell me a little bit about what you do?
Yeah. So I I know it's like the title's like kind of sounds kind of fancy. But I really work with like a lot of like the company data,
Mhm.
specifically in our system. So like we have like a database where we have all of our opportunities and like basically it's like our pipeline. And I work a lot with that information as well as building out reports for different areas in the company. So a lot of the times the reports are going to our CGO, which is our Chief Growth Officer. That is one of like my biggest reports that I do weekly, and it has all of our like weekly changes to our pipeline or any increases in values and different opportunities and just like things like that. But yeah, I would say every day is very different. But mainly I work in doing a lot of different reports out of Excel. I work in Power BI as well. And also in our system and working with in government contracting, our customers are the actual people in our company, so our employees, um, rather than like the Army or the Air Force or the Navy being our customer. It's more of since in business development, like the other groups in the company are our customers. So working a lot with them and what they need and how we can improve and make their lives and their jobs easier, basically.
Awesome. And so you mentioned government contracting.
Yes.
That is an industry that is very different than
Yes.
working at a private sector company. So can you talk a little bit about what are some of the rules and regulations that impact what tools you can use as a data analyst and just things to that effect?
Yeah. So there's a lot of like policies in place because it we're not the government, but we're the government is our customer. So basically it's like that kind of level of like not secrets, but like classifications, things like that. It's harder. Like we can't use different. A lot of things are blocked to use at
Mhm.
work. And like things like ChatGPT, we can't put. We have to be very careful of what we put into that. Like whatever we're inserting, just because like, we don't want our data in like those big
Open source.
open source
Mhm.
AI like technologies. So yeah, I feel like, but specifically for me, I think being in business development, um, we're working a lot with the different employees in the company.
Mhm.
So that kind of, I feel like the rules aren't as strict because we're working like for me at day to day, I'm working with like a lot of the other employees in the company. So it's not that strict as I know a lot of other people, like if you have a clearance or anything,
Yeah.
that's harder. And then you would have, there's like different, it's like specific rooms you would have to work in and you can't bring your phone and things like that if they're working on like a classified like proposal or anything. But I
Right.
don't work on in that. So that's not that strict, but some people do. So
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. So facing internally, there's a little less restriction in terms of things because your data is just getting utilized by internal teams. You're not publishing it per se. Is
yeah.
that
Well, yes, but also a lot of times like it's hard because sometimes the data I'm working with one organization, another organization might want it, and that's where I kind of have to see what I can share or what I can't share, just because sometimes some people's information can't be shared to another organization. So it's kind of sometimes it's hard that way because I have to like check in with my manager and things like that, just because like you don't know um what other, because we have sectors in our company, so what one sector does sometimes they don't want the other sector to find out or know um what's in their pipeline or things like that. So
Mm,
sometimes there's a line there.
gotcha. Yeah, that sounds pretty complicated.
Yeah, it is.
So to backtrack a bit, can you tell me what you studied in college and how you ended up at your current position?
Yeah. So I went to JMU, James Madison University, in Harrisonburg, Virginia, if anyone knows where that is, in the middle of nowhere, kind of. I studied business management and as my major, and then I minored in computer information systems. And then my sophomore year, I think, no, it's my junior year, sophomore or junior year, I believe. It was 2019. I got an internship at the company I'm currently working at. And I was just like a business development intern. And then I actually got to work on a really big project um, that was like over $1 billion. So it to me, I was like, wow, like this is a big deal. It's a lot of money. And I got to that's how I kind of fell into like working with data and like figuring out because I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I mean, I was like 20, and so I was like, I kind of have to like figure something out. And my mom was like, you need to get an internship, like, and so I was just applying to all these internships and being like, I need something because my mom's gonna go crazy. But also I know that I wanted the experience as well.
Mhm.
And that's important. I feel like internships definitely are important for being able to get a full-time offer. It helps. And like I said, it's just the experience. So I worked for them, and that's when I really got to learn Excel. I taught myself a lot of Excel, like watching YouTube videos and things like that, because in school I didn't really learn that much about that yet because I was still taking like the general business classes. I didn't really declare my minor for computer information systems just yet. Um, until after the first summer of internship, I decided to get a minor in computer information systems because I liked what I was doing at work. I was working in Excel a lot. And I taught myself a lot of like the formulas and how to build out tables and using pivots and all those fun terms. Um, then I worked throughout I kept the internship throughout the school year. So I would work when I could. And then I came back the next summer. It was COVID. So yeah, I think, yeah, I started as a sophomore. And then my junior year, that's when COVID happened. And I couldn't go back to the office because I was in the office Monday through Friday in the summertime.
Oh, wow.
And it
Okay.
was a big difference because like I feel like as an intern, it's important to being in the office helps a lot personally for me because I got to interact with a lot of people, ask questions. So when I did my internship at home, it was a lot harder because I mean, I feel like for everyone, that transition was just like, what is happening? Like, we don't know. And yeah, so I did my internship that summer at home and then went back to school, worked throughout the school year. My last year, senior year, my manager had a heart attack.
Oh my God.
So yeah, my manager had a heart attack and I didn't want to say like, you know, am I gonna get a job offer? Because they kept talking about that, like,
Yeah.
you like we want to pull you on full time, but I just didn't have any details. And he had a heart attack, so I didn't want to like he was out.
Okay.
So I was really anxious and I was like, oh, I started applying for other jobs and things were just not looking good. And um I ended up I graduated, didn't have a full-time offer at that time. But I still had the internship. So I knew like, he was telling me like apply to places. He wrote me a letter of recommendation.
Okay.
Um, and he was a great mentor to have. And I ended up I think I got kind of lucky because I actually applied to a job, almost took it, but then I got a call from my manager and he was like, wait, don't take the job yet. There's a new organization that's being created at our company. And I think there's an opportunity for you. So I'm like, okay, like didn't really think much of it. I just told I was still applying internally as well to different jobs, but I was just telling them like, I'm just I was telling them like I need a kind of a little bit of time.
Mhm.
And I ended up interviewing with our he's like our senior VP or VP of like
Something.
business development, basically, operations. And I ended up talking to him, and basically was like, "What do you want to do?" And I told him like, "I really like data. I did this for a past project. I built these tools in Excel," and he ended up offering me a job as a data analyst for the new organization that they were creating. So I kind of fell into it. I really think it was by luck, but also like having like those connections, I feel like it was really important as well.
Yeah, that's a great story.
Sorry, I feel like that was so long-winded.
No, 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 that was perfect. You showed like this incredible continuity, and I'm fascinated by your journey because I know you mentioned a lot of anxiety along the way of like, do I have
Yes.
a or do I not? But from the outside looking in, I'm like, she got the STEM degree, she did the
Mm,
internship, she got a job where she did the internship. I'm like, that is
yeah.
such a straight and narrow path, but obviously that's not necessarily
Mm,
how you felt. So it's
not
just
at all.
interesting. Yeah. And so I guess I would love to learn a little bit more about the kind of products. I feel like that's a big word that's used, the
Yeah.
products or formulas or sheets or dashboards that you produce. What is something, I know you said not every day is the same, but like
Mhm.
what would a typical day entail for you in terms of outputs?
Yeah, so with our system, there's a lot of issues that people go through. So we have a basically like a tracker which people like put in like anything like suggestions, or like people from other organizations put in like enhancements they want, or people from my team will put in like, I need help with this, or can you link this award to this contract to this opportunity. So kind of going through that tracker, and that's kind of like what I use every day to make sure like things are getting done. But also we have one tracker, but then with the enhancements, we put it into another tracker, which we work with our kind of like our development team
Mhm.
to create these enhancements and things that our customers want. So that's one, as well as reporting, like I mentioned earlier, for our CGO. He gets his weekly report of our pipeline and the changes week over week. That goes to him and our business development executives. That's every Thursday. And also we have like other like ad hoc things. Sometimes like our CGO would like email and be like, I need this report by this time. And then I'm like, okay, that's I feel like a lot of our work is ad hoc as well. Like you never know what someone wants,
Mhm.
as well as I do a lot of cleanup too. I think that takes up like I would say like at least 50% of my time is a lot of data cleanup of what other people are doing wrong basically, and we kind of have to like fix those mistakes, or like just change them or go through them, check them. It's a lot of checking um and data cleanup, honestly,
Mhm.
for day to day, and seeing what our customers need and want. A lot of uploads to our systems that people reach out for. Yeah, every day is different. It depends what people are putting in the tracker, but it's a lot of working in Excel.
Mhm.
Um, and then, yeah, that I would say those are like the main ones.
Okay. And are there any certifications or continuing education skills that you think you are interested in pursuing as your career progresses, or that someone who's interested in this career field should look into?
Yeah. So for me, I'm definitely all for YouTube University. Like I learn a lot through YouTube. Fortunately, my job has kind of like a virtual training um website database that you can learn. There's so many things to learn on there. From like Power BI, Excel, anything really. They have a lot of stuff on there. Me, I really want to learn more Power BI,
Mhm.
because I think I see that a lot of our work is moving into Power BI from Excel.
Mhm.
Uh, Personally, at my company, a lot of our leaders, they really like Excel because some of the things that you can do in Power BI, it's just easier to do in Excel.
Mhm.
Personally, to me, I think, but I for Power BI, it's more automated and dynamic, so it makes it our job easier. So we're not just sitting in building out these Excel templates every single day. In Power BI, we kind of can pull the data
Mhm.
and have it look a certain way that it's we already built. So that's definitely a skill that I want to learn. I have a great team, and my team actually has a technical guy, and his office is actually right across from mine, and I'm always running in there asking for his help because he definitely is an expert in Power BI. So that helps as well. I would say Excel and Power BI are definitely the two for entry level for what I do. I know a lot of other people might do like coding and stuff. I would like to get into it. Um, and I'm kind of interested in like data science as well. My mentor actually is kind of like the lead for a lot of the data scientists and digital transformations at our company. So I am interested in that as well.
Yeah, cool. So I know you mentioned a mentor.
Yes.
Was that something that happened organically? Does your company have a system for assigning mentors? It's hit or miss depending on where you are. So can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah. So for me, I'll start with the organic mentor. So I work on a great team. It definitely grew. I think we started with like 5 people and now it's like 23 people.
Mhm.
And my first manager on the team, I would say definitely, she's definitely a mentor to me as well as like a lot of my other coworkers, just because I feel like I am so young and starting new and a lot of these other people have so much experience and they definitely like guide me and help my first like big girl job, a lot of the guidance, and I really appreciate that. But I do have a actual mentor that my company assigned to me, and we met. This is actually fairly new. I always knew of him.
Mhm.
And it's funny because I always kind of wanted to like know what he did, but
Yeah.
and I worked with him a bit, but I never like it would never really like developed further because I don't think I think he sits somewhere like I wouldn't see him in passing every day to like
Yeah.
talk to him. I just feel like in the office it's like easy to like pass by, do like drive by. So I didn't really get to see him that much. I worked with him, but no, he's great. He's in digital transformation. He's the lead for that, and he's awesome. And he has already like with our first meetup, we're actually meeting next week. He's already provided so much guidance for me as well, and kind of like I had a lot of like different perspectives and things, and he kind of like tunneled it in so I can like actually understand and focus. He kind of basically put my thoughts together for me. So I really appreciated that.
That's awesome. So I know you just mentioned feeling like younger on the team, and you are. So
Yes.
how does that make you feel as a young professional in the workforce? Because you're reporting directly to the C-suite of a Fortune 500 company with global employees. Like that's a big deal. I know it might not seem that way to you because you've
Mhm.
been in it for a minute, but what is that experience like? And because I have background information because Dan and I work together.
Yes.
Working with a lot of retired military personnel and
Yes.
like all of these people who kind of command a presence. What is that
Yeah.
like for you?
So this is a great question, honestly, and something I did want to talk about because for me, because I was so like young and new to the industry, or not even industry, just like the corporate world in general.
Mhm.
But for me, I've been working here for so long, but I still feel sometimes like I don't know what I'm doing. But to backtrack, I I feel like I didn't have a lot of confidence when I first started, just because I felt like, these people have all the experience. Like why would they want to hear what I have to say? Kind of thing. But when I would tell that to like my peers or my mentors or my managers, they always say like, don't think of it like that. You are like a fresh like set of eyes and like a fresh mindset. So they always encouraged me That's why I love my team. They always have been encouraging for me and gave me that confidence boost. But for me, it definitely was discouraging. I was definitely scared to ask questions um, in the beginning. And I think now where I've been in the company for 5 years now, and like now, like after I especially got my mentor, and I told him like sometimes like I get discouraged to ask questions or like ask for clarification because like I don't want people to think like, oh, she's dumb or like, why is she not paying attention? But
Yeah.
he reassured me like, no, like it's okay. And I think now I definitely have the confidence to be in a meeting and ask like, wait, can you explain that one more time? Or um ask them about certain things that I wouldn't have in the past.
Mhm.
And working with a lot of these personalities, there's a lot of personalities in a company, any company,
Yeah.
especially with people who have been in it for so long
Mhm.
or have these titles. I think for me, just in general, for how I am, I just kind of like I'm very easygoing, and I think that kind of helps
Yeah.
because, and I just, yeah, I just understand like people are like that anywhere you go, and I think because I've been working here for so long as well, I've got comfortable with meeting these people, and at the end of the day, I always think like they're still people.
Mhm.
I of course I still get nervous, and I don't really ever think like, wow, like you're sending reports to C-suite, like this is a big deal because I think that would make me more
Yeah.
nervous. I think because I've been doing it like since the beginning, so to me it seems like kind of normal.
Yeah.
But of course I'm still like reading every little line of like what am I sending out. Um, but yeah, I think having the support of a team definitely helps me because, they're working with these kind of people too.
Mhm.
So it helps.
So in addition to your main role, you've taken on this responsibility of basically completely architecting a summer intern program for our
Yes.
particular organization. Can you tell me how that happened and what that looks like for you, in addition to your normal workload?
Yes. So honestly, this is kind of probably one of the most proud, like I do a lot of different things, like any job, everyone, but I think this is probably the most proud thing I've done just because it gets to like I know my work affects a lot of people in general. Like I report to our CGO, so he's uses some of that to show like to the CEO. But I think being able, my manager and team kind of gave me like all the creativity, like just they're like here, just build like create anything you want basically. And I think that kind of helped me in a way where like it gave me that confidence to know like they're trusting me to do this because they think I can do it.
Yeah.
So how I got into it, so my team had got the responsibility to create an intern cohort because we never had one really, not in business development operations at least. So my manager basically told our team like, okay, Dana, basically you're gonna have the responsibility to, create or help create our intern cohort program. And I was thinking like, okay, I'm gonna help. But I ended up really just building it all.
Mhm.
And I got to, of course, still, I always have to collaborate with my coworkers and get their opinions and stuff, just because like I didn't feel like that's a lot of responsibility. I just want to get other opinions just to see
Yeah.
what they're thinking as well. So it was like I had just that year, I had graduated. Um,
Fresh perspective
Basically,
from being an intern.
yeah, so now I'm like about to like create this program, so I think that definitely helped because I took what I learned as an intern and wanted and kind of put that into creating the program and thinking like what if I could have been in this program, what would I have wanted? And I think definitely I created like a well-rounded program just so they can see different areas in the company. So it's not just like just because you're like a proposal or a writer intern, like you're not going to get exposed to everything else. Like I wanted to expose them to everything, and
Mhm.
as well as meeting a lot of different execs. I feel like that was definitely a good thing to bring on as well, just so they can get like that FaceTime with them and like hear about their stories and get some advice from them as well. Because I know when you're young, you just want that, like, or for me at least, like you want that advice and guidance because like you want to see where other people were and how they are, where they got to now and how what was their journey. So I think that was really important. But yeah, I think it was a lot of work, of course, but it was definitely very it was very meaningful in the end. Just because it's a big deal, kind of. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. My
So
favorite panel that you put together, I can't remember if it was women in STEM or just women leaders.
women in business, yeah.
Yeah, for context, I attend all of Dana's intern programming because it's so good.
Oh, she actually did a workshop too.
Oh yeah. Well, I think I
She
was sick
did.
actually. I don't think
No,
I was.
no, yeah, no. Bridget did an amazing job with our interns with resume and LinkedIn work. So
Yeah,
yeah,
well,
we would host like different workshops. So it was really fun. And like just meeting the interns, they're always so fun and just having them around too. It's this is gonna be my third year doing it. And I'm really excited. So
yay.
yeah, every year is different. We always try to do something bigger and better.
Yeah.
So
Cool. Well, on that note, and on the note of advising younger folks who are
mm.
into the corporate world, perhaps, do you have any advice, either specifically for getting into the government contracting industry and or specifically data analytics roles?
um I would say for entry level, like don't be discouraged if you don't have like if you're just like a marketing or business admin, like I feel like anyone can jump into this role. I would say you can always teach yourself a lot of the skills. YouTube is free for the most part. I think now it is free, right?
Yeah.
Still. Um YouTube is your best was my best friend and it taught me a lot. Having like these projects um it really helped as well and following like whatever programs they had but also being open um to any opportunity as well because you never know where it will take you
Mhm.
that and I think once you're in the role take every single project they give you like they might seem like a lot but you learn so much when you do that and also I think for me having that mindset where I'm like, I want to be able to help everyone, then people are willing to like help you too. And they see that drive
Mhm.
and they'll be willing to, give you that energy back as well and be willing to help you because they know um, you're willing to help them. So yeah, YouTube and kind of like being a sponge, like just soak everything in.
Yeah.
So.
I think that's fantastic advice to end on. Dana, thank you so much for taking the
Thank
time to talk to me
you.
today, and I can't wait for this to go out.
Thank you so much.